Okay guys, Rob from Tactical Garage here. So today the plan is to strip the floor down to bare metal. And you can see we have all this surface rust everywhere here. And so the plan is to strip that down to bare metal. And I'll show you what I'm going to be using here, but I'm going to be trying some stripping discs to get that down. And then once that's down and everything's cleaned up, and then I'll spray it with some primer to get it sealed there. So we'll get to that, and I think today my daughter's going to be working on this with me, so she will have her first YouTube appearance here on the bus build as she grinds off some rust and brings this down to bare metal with me. Anyways, we'll get started here. Okay guys, the first thing I'm going to be trying out on here is a angle die grinder. The die grinder I got from Harbor Freight for like, I don't know, 15 bucks or something like that. These right here are some Scotch-Brite stripping pads here. And then it's a twist and lock style. As you can see, twist and lock, so it just twists into here. And this is an adapter. So the adapter I got from Amazon, the Scotch-Brites I got from Amazon. So I'll put a link down below in the description for the Scotch-Brites, for the adapter, and then also for an angle grinder, all on Amazon that's similar to this one. So if you're interested, you can follow the link below, and Amazon will give me a couple pennies if you buy something from them. So appreciate that. Anyways, we'll get started here. Okay, I'm going to try something else here now. I'm going to try a 4-inch angle grinder with a Black Hawk. The Black Hawk stripping disc here, which is a little more aggressive. And again, I got this off Amazon as well, so I'll put a link to this down there, and we'll see if this does better. Okay, so there's no question the angle grinder with that Black Hawk stripping disc is going to be the tool of choice here. So that'll be the primary thing that I use to strip this down. There's still work to do. I mean, obviously we're just getting started here, but you can see it's taking it off fairly quickly. It's just way too much for the die grinder here with the Scotch-Brite. This is going to be good for the corners, the edges, something I can't get to with the other one, but all the big stuff, I'm going to use this big one right here. So I'm going to get to it and get stripping here, and then we'll come back. Hey guys, Rob Tactical Garage here. Update on the VW bus rebuild here. So we've been working on the interior and we've been grinding. We basically have taken down to bare metal any place that we're planning on painting. So So you can see that the back here, everything's been taken to metal. Come over to the side here, you can see part of it's still blue there, and what that is that's going to be covered up by a panel, so I'm not going to take that down. But what we were looking at is we had quite a bit of some surface rust that was on really mainly the floor in here, and so we just decided to grind it all down to metal is what I did. And now I'm getting ready to spray an epoxy, a 2-part epoxy primer on the interior here. I didn't go back and you know, there was some pitting because of the rust, and I didn't go back and necessarily fix all that. Just so I'm going to spray the primer over the top of it to get a coat of primer on it first, and then I might end up grinding a few spots back down later and deal with them one at a time. I just don't want to leave the entire bus like this in a interior and bare metal and have a rust problem. So I want to get some primer on it to take care of that. There's a full couple places where I have some holes where, you know, we got some holes right back in here. You can see those. So after I get it primered, I'll come back to those ones and I'll grind that area down, cut it out, weld a piece in, and do it that way. But right now, like I said, it's primarily grinded down to bare metal. Anyways, I've had to use quite a few things in here trying to figure out what the best way to strip this paint off and get it down to bare metal. The thing that worked the best for me on any flat surface, any surface I can get to pretty easily, are these stripping discs right here. These are from Amazon. I'll put a link down below. These actually work really well on any kind of flat area. If you're trying to get into the crevice of something, they're a little harder. So I did have to use some other stuff as well. I used some of the similar kind of 3M style pads on this die grinder also, is what I was using to get into some of the tighter stuff. Some of it I had to end up using this steel cable, this cable wheel right here on some stuff as well. And lastly, I used some of these as well, which were trying to get into the tight corners, any kind of tight corner, like for example, if I had to get down into here or something like that. You can see like underneath there, I'd use something like that. So I had to use quite a bit. Anyways, I'll take you a look around here, and then next up we're going to be spraying some primer on this thing. All right, here's the kind of the middle of the bus right here. Again, we've grinded all this down to metal except for the parts where the panel is going to go on. So on the back wall right there, a panel will cover all that right there. But again, we've had to grind all this back down to bare metal. Even though the seats are going to be covered in the back there with paneling, I decided to strip all those down to bare metal. And then in the front here as well, everything came back down to bare metal here in the front as well. So I'm starting to tape it up so I can start spraying some primer on it. You can see back there, I got some paper going on the window back there. Anyways, I'm going to get everything taped up so I can spray some primer on this thing before winter hits and it gets too cold to be able to do anything as far as spraying paint. So anyways, we'll be sure to keep you updated on it. And so after I spray primer, then during the winter here, I'm going to be looking at mechanical stuff. So I'm going to be tearing into the engine. We're going to be putting brakes on it and looking at any kind of suspension stuff, any of that kind of stuff. So mechanical stuff during the winter. And then we'll circle back in the spring, and in the springs where we will strip down the exterior of the bus. Again, it's coming down to bare metal. The whole entire bus is going to come down to bare metal, and then we'll spray the bus as well, and that'll probably be in the springtime. But primer tomorrow, so I'll try to get some video of that. Thanks, guys.